Hello, people. My name is Ifeoma. I'm a doctor. Um, I've been married to this man, Pius Ambo of Channels Television, for 6 years. And for 6 years, I've known no peace in this marriage. It's been from one woman to another. Sleeps from one woman. Just had a baby. It was a cesarean section just about 4 weeks ago. Just because I told him to spend wisely and not spend on women so recklessly, considering that we have 4 children and these children have to be trained. That's why I got this beating. Tried to strangle me and all that. Sat on my incision and everything. The children were crying. And I was pregnant with this child. And the pregnancy was 3 months. It was the same thing. He would sit on my stomach, hit me, try to strangle me and all that. Calling him out, he works with Channels TV. His name is Pius Iroja Angbo from Ebonyi State.
Mommy, sorry.
Thank you. First of all, I sincerely want to thank the governor of the state. He's really shown he's a father. I thank you, sir, for in the midst of your busy schedules, you've made out time to talk to us and advise us. I've taken your counsel, sir, and going forward, I intend to make my marriage work. I accept your apology, my husband. And to my people in Imo State, they were not happy about what happened at all. I please also want to plead with you to forgive my husband. And to my auntie China, I also want to thank you. You've been like a mother to me here and a sister. Thank you for everything you've done. And to the rest of the world, I want you to have a place in your hearts to forgive my husband. In this time, I need your prayers for my family and my children. We have 4 children who are still very tender. And all we need now is your prayers. Thank you.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Trash It. The topic we're going to be discussing about today is the recent video that's been going viral on Instagram, on all social media platform, about a doctor who was beaten by her husband. But before we go into it, let me just introduce the guests we have in the house today. At this point, they're no longer guests. You have Yori, which you all should know by now, and you have Jude. Again, you should know Jude by now. We have Mr. Jagwa Jantix, which you should also know by now. And again, we've decided to bring Victoria back because this is her area. This is her expertise. So thank you guys for coming back on Trash It. So yes, let's go into this topic. You all just saw the video that we watched at the beginning of this video, where the lady was, she made a video saying that she was beaten by her husband because she had told her husband to stop spending their money on his side chicks. Now, the man is quite a prominent man, so to speak. He's not prominent. Okay, Victoria, your face. He's not prominent. He's a newscaster, let me put it that way, on Channels TV, right? Okay, he's a reporter on Channels TV. Okay, so she made a video and said he's been beating her for the past 6 years. This is something that's been ongoing in the marriage. But the one that she did recently was because she just had a baby a few months ago via cesarean, and this man beat her to the point where he sat on the area where she had the operation. And we all know what can happen. It can be fatal. Now, the following day after she made that video, there was another video that we saw on social media where she was now saying that her husband has apologized, she has forgiven her husband, and there was this certain somebody in the video who was the one that facilitated this whole settlement. Now, before we delve into that, I just want us to think about it. People so desperately want to get married. They want to remain married, that they will do anything to stay married. Now, I'm going to come to you, Mr. Jagwajantix. What do you think? Is marriage so important that people are ready to risk it all and risk their life just to be married?
Well, thank you for having me on the platform again today. Marriage, to me, is overrated. You know, people do marriage as if they're ticking something in the box, not because they feel the need to, but because they want to match up with what's going on in the society. And then you see people ending up with different kind of people who have completely negative energy to their own. So you see somebody marrying somebody because she is the daughter of some big man in Nigeria, so that can open doors for him. Or you see her marrying somebody because he's rich, and then they start getting battered every now and then in the marriage. So marriage is overrated. It is not everybody that is going to be married. Even so many people that are married today, they're looking at the single or divorced women like, wow, I wish I was you. I can't even wait to get out of this mess. Marriage is a scam. Marriage is this. My own marriage is rocking. It's rocking. It's a jolly boat, and I've been in it for over a decade, and I'm still enjoying it. It is sweet, but unfortunately, it's not going to be the same for everybody. You know, you see people, they smile, they come out. You see them on the red carpet, they hold hands. The moment they get back into the car, they are frowning. They will never talk till they get back home. They get home, they act like strangers, total strangers, complete strangers. But the moment they step out of the house, or the moment it involves a third party, they become Romeo and Juliet. The moment that person leaves, they become enemies again. They go back into their default mode, default setting. So it's just too much to talk about, too many lies. Marriage these days is sham, honestly. I know I'm married. It is easy for me to say this, and people who are desperately looking to settle down will be like, you can say that now because you're happy in your home. But it's true. All of us have different challenges. My challenge in my relationship is different to Mr. Jude's challenge. You know, maybe what Mr. Jude is battling with his wife is issue of finance. Maybe he can't put money in his wife's hand. She will spend it. You will just see Gucci, or you will see something. And then you argue and argue and argue, and then you come back, you settle. And somebody whose challenge is only, I told you to buy me Nigerian bread on your way back. They will be beating each other. Black. And Mr. Jude will not even have any issues. And you see them together for the next 20 years, still happy. And that issue of wife not knowing how to manage money is not even an issue for them. They manage that problem very well. And somebody who only forgot to buy Nigerian bread is being beaten blue black. So marriage is not the same for everybody. We just have to understand that we don't have to desperately end up with the wrong guy because Dupe and Shegun are together and they're always posting pictures. So let me stop there so that somebody else can add to it.
Thank you very much. So Jude, let me come to you real quick. I know you've said it several times on the show that you do not believe in marriage, but however, you're married anyway. So what is it with marriage? Why do people really want to get into it? And I mean, at the end of the day, this woman came out and she said what she had to say. But there are a lot of people that are going through this and they haven't come out or they can't come out. So what do you think for a lot of people that are suffering in silence? Can't they just leave?
I think to understand why we desire companionship, we have to go back to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where at the base is food, shelter, sex, and the desire for companionship, and then ambitions, and it just keeps going like that, you know. So as much as food is very important, and shelter and water, sex is very important, and the desire for companionship, not just with the human animals, is with the animals as well. So that's the first part. It's a basic instinct for everyone, every living being. So we desire that to be with the opposite sex, or these days with the same sex. It's for that companionship. It gives you that sense of protection, so to speak. But with marriages of today, like Mr. Jagojantis rightly pointed out, it's become something of convenience, and in some societies, like, people pressure them into it. Even in the UK, marriages before now were all about arrangement. There was never legal marriages until inheritance questions came into being. When I think it was one of the kings, his side chick was the one he preferred because she gave him a male child, and he wanted some set of his children to inherit his properties. That's why they brought up the whole marriage thing, that you must be married, this and that. It wasn't like that before. You know, as society, as people come together, they choose and decide how they want to live together. That's how society grows. So it's become a thing of convenience, and in some societies, it is arranged for conveniences as well. Your family wants to keep their wealth, and they come to me, my family who's rich, and we bring our children and they marry just to keep that name going. We don't want the poor people to get involved. So you see, marriage of convenience is there. Then now, with the age of social media, people see, like what Mr. Jango rightly pointed out, all they see is happy facade faces out there. They don't know what's going on. It's not all rosy. I use myself as an example. I put my hands up. Go ask my wife. There are weeks I don't talk to her. Not because I don't want to talk to her, but we must understand that as a human, I need my own space. I need sometimes to just shut down. And it's not me doing it. It's just my nature. I'm just shutting down. And so the woman needs to shut down as well. We need to understand all of this before we come into this companionship. Because first of all, I don't know her from before. She don't know me from before. We met, we started to court. And now these are two different strangers coming together. That woman is an amazing woman for saying, I asked my Oga to suffer, spend money on side chick. Boy, I want to marry her. The woman that will give me chance to be going with side chick and even advise me how to spend, she's golden. But you can see even that will not stop the man from taking the metal and badge ahead with it. So my advice to her is, I would have advised her rightly, but she said we should get out of her business. So I'm not going to give her any advice. She's an adult. My issue with the whole matter is, what does the Nigerian law say about this? Is it criminal? The biggest problem for me was a governor of a state coming out to say, hey, I've settled you. This is not your business. This is the business for the police. Again, it goes back to the question, are we a society yet? Does the police even know their role? You know what I mean? The police is not investigated. Channels TV has not said anything, any disclaimer. They've not put out any disclaimer. So who am I to advise this woman? I'm just saying I commend her effort on the side that spend your money wisely. If my wife give me the advice and I say, hold £50 and spend on the side chick, I will be happy. Come on. I commend her.
Yeah, I think Channels TV, they put out a very lousy statement. As far as I'm concerned, it was very lousy. Okay. And they said they've heard the report and they are investigating. I mean, what further investigating do you need to do? There was a clear video that showed the woman's face. I mean, it was obvious. So you didn't need to investigate. You didn't have much to investigate. The evidence was there, black and white. But anyway, Victoria, let me come to you. I mean, obviously, you've been through similar situations, and everybody knows you speak very freely of it, and you use your experience to help others. What do you think about people wanting to get married? Why do people so badly want to get married that they don't mind risking their lives?
For this particular situation, I don't think it's about people wanting to get married, really. I think it's more about the people in the marriage itself. Yes, because I mean, it's okay to get married. Marriage is a fantastic thing, but there has to be understanding between the two people. And when I mean understanding, proper understanding. But in her own case, the problem is, in my opinion, and I would always say my opinion, she looks and sounds very, very desperate, extremely desperate. I see a woman with no self-confidence whatsoever. The only thing she's clinging up to is that title doctor. But even that title doctor, I am worried that she is not even in a right frame of mind to treat anybody, because she needs the treatment. But again, in Nigeria, like you said, Nigeria is society. Yeah, because she needs to be taken care of. Everything she put out in that statement was not coming from her. It was coming from a place of hopelessness. Her case is hopeless. Why? Apart from the fact that she said for 6 years, she's never had peace. Yeah? But you're still there. And that shows that, first of all, she doesn't have a family. She doesn't have a family. And if she does, her family is so dysfunctional and damaged that they are like, you better stay there. No way back. That's the first thing. So she is a damaged product. and she is desperately trying to prove her worth. And she's using marriage as the clothing for her self-worth. That if all fails, I have this. And it looks like all has failed, and she is clinging on. How can you tell me you're not upset he's having side kicks? You are advising him on how to spend money. You're not saying don't spend money. You're saying please be careful so that we have enough to eat. And I can tell you now again that that woman is the one financing that home.
Of course.
Because he's a reporter with channels, right? How much are reporters paid? How much? I don't think he's earning up to 200,000. I doubt if he's earning up to 200,000. No, exactly. So she is the breadwinner. So what the man is doing is even taking her money to go and do whatever he's doing. Yeah. Now, for another area that I see there's a big problem is, and why I call her desperate. 6 years, 4 children. Unless you're telling me she had 2 sets of twins. But if it is the same way we all get pregnant and have a child, 9 months, and then you need your body to heal again before you. So, in my opinion, she was using the child to hold on to the man. Wow. But this same pregnancy is the pregnancy he punches, meaning that he does not want that child. He was doing that for her to have a miscarriage, but it didn't happen. And she had the baby. So she's using children to hold on to him. And it's not going to work because there's no love, there's no respect. She doesn't have anything. And to come out and say people should mind their business. I remember the last time I got involved with Chacha, and she came out and labeled herself with bipolar. Yeah. So this one, before that time, when people were sending me her videos, I'm like, she doesn't need help. It's not everybody that needs help. Some people just want to talk. Yeah, and then after talking, she will still be there. If she needed help, she knows what to do. I mean, we live in a country here where if a woman is going through domestic violence, if she cannot call the police, you do what? You call your GP. The GP would now signpost you and get you help. In this case, the GP is the victim. So what hope is there for anybody, for the country, for the people she's treating, for her own self? I don't know if you know the story of, there was this doctor 2 years ago that was killing people, due to his own issues, but he was injecting a lot of people. It was here. That's the typical thing that someone like her would do. She would always misdiagnose. She would always do, because she's coming from a place of pain. The thing about domestic violence, you see the physical beating, it can heal. The damage, the unseen damage never ever heals. I'm even still struggling. Like I always say, I had to go back to uni to build up my self-confidence. In her own case, she's already has a career. So dealing with her is going to be very, very, very difficult because she does not have any self-worth anymore. She doesn't even think she's good enough for herself. And then my biggest problem again are the children. I wouldn't want my kids to mix with her kids. I'm sorry, and I'm saying it openly. Because her kids are so damaged. The only communication they would understand is violence. And they don't see anything wrong in it because why? Daddy beats mommy and mommy still stays. Mommy will come and cry and then they will say, sorry, mommy. Tomorrow, he's even going to beat his mother because he has seen his mother being belittled by the father. So there comes a stage at their lives as teenagers when he wants to go and mom says, don't go. And he says, what? Who? You? Tell me what to do. Are you okay? It happens, but she'll be too embarrassed to come out and say it. Because what children mirror behavior and what the child is seeing, he's going to exhibit. And the first people they exhibit whatever character they have, copied is the primary caregiver, which is the parents. Abi Jude, is that not how it is?
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yuri, let me come to you before we move to the other area that we want to look at. So how do you see this whole situation? Do women need to remain in an abusive marriage just because they want to remain married?
You know, everybody has said everything that I want to say. But if there's anyone, I hate to say this, but I think I blame our parents. And it might be a little bit mean of me to say this because they stayed. We probably didn't see most of the things that happen in their marriages because maybe most of them didn't talk about it. And at the same time, they made it so important that for you to be respected, for you to be that woman, you have to have the covering of a man. You have to be married. So I blame our parents because she's Igbo. Is that correct?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Igbo people value marriage as any other tribe. So she stayed there wanting to be married like 6 years and you have 4 children. She must be one fertile woman. That means every 9 months you're churning your body in. And that video that she made, she didn't ask for help. She wasn't asking for help. She wanted someone to talk to the guy. She made the video so that someone can talk to him and he can be a better husband to her. That video was not about her being removed from the situation. That video was someone to reach out to the husband and be like, be a better man to your wife. She wants to remain there. And I hope she doesn't die. And it goes, I hate to say this, but I think the Nigerian Doctor Association or whatever they are, they need to actually come in and probably, I wouldn't say disbar her, but at least tell her to go remove her license and say, you're not fit to practice.
Yeah, take some time off.
Exactly, take some time off. Imagine a woman being battered and I go to you and Dr. Ifeanyi, you're my doctor. There's no good word that will come out of your mouth because you will tell me to remain there because you remain in an abusive situation and you end up letting another woman die. She might not have the backing of the governor of Benue State as you had, or whatever the governor is. She may die there. So you're not even a serious professional. You should actually be asked to take time off because you're not fit for practice. As for the husband, Channel Steve ain't going to say shit. They're not going to say anything because the society allows a man to get away with murder. Channel is not going to. And the stupid governor and wife that went to go and appeal to her. You have no job. Is it within your constitution or within your job description to actually do that? So because you said don't beat your wife, you won't beat her. No. When she gets home, you'll be like, not only have you embarrassed me, the whole of Nigeria knows my name, knows me. I might end up losing my job. The governor, you will beat her times 10 and pan beat her face. You know what really gets me was where their son said, sorry, mommy. Yeah. But he said it in a nonchalant way because they're used to saying sorry to mommy.
You're right. Yeah. As if to say, sorry, mommy.
Sorry,
it will happen again. It happened a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to, go on, Yuri.
No. It's just, there's a lot of factors. Our society doesn't help. Yeah. This woman is not, she's not ready to leave that marriage. She's old. And I saw the guy, I didn't see anything interesting about him that is worth holding on to.
No.
You're financing the home. Someone is even beating you on top of your money.
And even the side chicks, I wonder how they're feeling right now with all everything in the air to know that it's because of them that this man beated his wife like this. I wonder how they're feeling. Maybe they feel like, yes, I've done something good. We're gonna go to the next area of this, where obviously people in power, people who have influence over your life, how they can sometimes abuse that power. Do you understand? Like now, for example, look at this situation. The governor of Benue State came and reconciled them. I know, Yuri, you said that, in the video, she was actually asking someone to settle the matter. It's not that she wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Now, it just takes me to the fact that the governor of Benue State surely must know, are there no laws in Nigeria around domestic violence? And Jude, as you rightly said, the police probably don't know what they should do. They will just say, it's a family matter, go and sort it out. And of course, the governor has presided over it. So there's nothing anybody else can do. So now let me come to that aspect. I mean, this is a very easy thing. I know, Victoria, with your story that you've spoken about it on the show as well, where in your situation, your pastor was the person you looked up to. You believed him. And you sort of took that guidance and advice from him. So again, look at this woman. The governor has told her what to do. What chances did she have, even if she wanted to leave, for example? How would she have been able to come out of the situation, given that the governor was now involved? So Jude, let me come to you first for that. Did she stand any chance at all?
No, I think you've touched on a very, very existential question. This is what I always tell people about the Messiah complex. They're looking for the external kind of I don't know how to put it. Let me call it threat. So you look outside of the being instead of looking inwards for your own solutions. So that has happened, like Victoria pointed out, and Yuri agreed with her. That video wasn't a cry for help. It was a cry for get the savior out to come talk about us. Maybe it was a plea for the governor. Maybe they were close to the governor. They wanted the governor to come and bless them with some money. So again, it borders on the society. Do we have a society yet? In England before, where domestic violence was big those days before the laws, it was family issues. Families had to deal with it. In the East End, they used to fight knuckle buckle outside and all. But when we started to create a society they wanted to live in, they then decided, when does it cross the boundary of family affair and into the state? It's exactly this sort of situations where matter of life and death. That's where it crosses. That's why we have the argument of whether can you smack your children or not. Where do you cross the boundary from smacking? It becomes a state. Some things will be within the boundaries of the home. But if my son go to school tomorrow with black eyes, it becomes a state. You see what I mean? So a lot of that we don't know in the country at the moment. So yes, that's not her fault, but some people need to make sacrifice. Like you rightly pointed out, we can point fingers directly to our parents, and they can go beyond that and say their parents and their parents and their parents. It's so going far. None of us are willing to make those sacrifices. And I go back again, it's with the videos we watch, it's with the music that we listen to, it's with the communities, the churches where we attend, the mosque. Look at the lady who wore the nice dress with the cut back, a pretty woman. They said that is even worse than any crime on earth. Meanwhile, the 43 people slaughtered, they said that's no crime. But they want to kill that lady who wore a nice cut back. Now you see where I'm going with it. It's the society. It's about power structure. They oppress. So for her, even if, okay, as a woman, she's going through that, you would think she would approach a female pastor or the pastor's wife or the governor's wife as a woman to woman. Let's talk, you will understand me. But no, they run to the man, to the male figure. So they don't even trust so the woman figure is not even a sanctuary for them. So you see, it's a win, it's a lose-lose for them. But some people need to make that sacrifice in society and say, hang on, this is not right. And we already pointed out the Doctors Association. They do have a very powerful association. When it comes to yearly election, they do spend a lot of money to get votes. That association is very powerful. They can make decisions because she's not in a fit state to practice. If they put pressure on them, society might start looking at that and change. The police need to be re-educated in all of this. As well as the citizenry, because no one really understands what is going on. It goes back again to the fact that we are not a society yet. We are actually not a society. We need to challenge all of that. We need to look at this has happened. We deal with it by ourselves or we give it to the state. But we don't know. Somebody was telling me, let me diverge a bit. Somebody was saying to me, I don't care about Nigeria because we've always taken care of ourselves. I said, that's where the problem is. He said, we created our own borehole. We built our own toilets. We built our own roads. I said, exactly. We did. But we shouldn't be doing that because it crosses the individual into the state's terrain. We don't have the knowledge of this. As a society, we do not. If we did, all of this, there will be checks and balances, but we actually do not know where it crosses the individual, family, and into the society. That's where the problem is. So for her, she doesn't even know. She's got so much power, but she feels so powerless. She's a doctor, for Christ's sake, like Victoria said. These are powerful people, but she doesn't even know the power that comes with that.
Thank you, Jude. Mr. Jago, let me come to you. Do you think that the Ebonyi State governor butting in and settling them instead of going through the proper channels for the whole matter to be, for the law to take its course, do you think he abused his power and put her in a position where she could not come out of?
Well, I have a different view to that. We have to consider three things. We have to consider publicity stunts, we have to consider politics, and we have to consider, I don't want to say cultural, but tradition. So first of all, the governor was only exploiting the situation. not like he really cares about them. Yes, they would have walked away with big check. That one is certain. But the governor was only doing publicity stunts. Election is around the corner. He needs to win the hearts of the people. Oh, he settled the marriage. He made them happy again, blah, blah, blah. What a good governor. Just like they will say, what a good father-in-law. He settled the matter. Now the husband and wife are back together. It's all publicity stuff. If we look back quickly, the lady with the blue eyes, when the husband ran away saying, oh, another child with the blue eyes, I don't want to be part of this again. He ran away. The wife of the governor came into the picture. The next thing, the husband showed up. Because now publicity stunt has happened. Everybody in the state is clamoring and praising the lady. Everybody wants to be friends with the lady. Everywhere she passes, every street, they hail her. Now the husband wants to be part of that fame and glory. And then he came back. And then they started doing photo shoots, wearing big agbada. Somebody is sponsoring all those things. So what happened there in Benue? The governor too was just exploiting the opportunity. Does he really care about them? No, to me. Did he hear anything about them, whether they had Gary 2 weeks ago or they had concoction? No. But because somebody is all over the internet, everybody is reposting, there is a swollen face, GBH is involved, all of a sudden, governor invited them. Either the governor is involved or not, the police should not halt their responsibility. They should have still moved ahead and be like, thank you for your time with the governor, but right now you're under arrest. We need to take you away and ask you questions. They need to put some little bit of punishment, even if it's ordinary community service. Sweep the street from Ugbawa Road to Amaforishe. It is still responsibility, you know. But in this case, nothing is done. Governor will just be like, Oga, what you have done is terrible. And I will personally make sure I supervise your arrest next time you do this. But right now, Oya, Dobale, beg your wife. Oya, wife, madam, no vex. Please, take this check. It's 10 million naira. Please. See, this is my direct number. Anytime he does that again, just call me. Do you understand what I'm saying? The governor may have, really talked sense into the man behind closed doors, behind cameras. None of us was there. They may have given him any form of punishment, but I know that punishment is useless. He will not be punished. But the thing is, what we see in front of the camera, what we see posted online, that's all we saw. What happened behind closed doors, we did not see. So, but where I am disappointed is the Nigerian police again. Like, they've always failed me. I don't understand why the Inspector General of Police will not go online or on TV or on newspaper and say, you know what? I know the governor has spoken to these people, but I still need this man arrested. But he's not doing that. The only thing you will see him do now is Nigerian youth should not gather. If they gather this time, we will use all forces of law to do this and that. They are always excited to exhibit power on irrelevancies rather than the important things that will put Nigeria on the map so that other countries can respect us. Now Uganda will be laughing at us. Ghana will be laughing at us. So let me just stop here.
Thank you, Mr. Gbada. Victoria, let me come to you. You've had the experience of this. You trusted the pastor so much. He even convinced you to sign papers of the how. What do you think in this? Do you think this is proper abuse of power?
It's proper abuse of power, because that is not the duties of a state governor. It's none of his business. There need to be set boundaries between society and family, right? But it's not. At the end of the day, I think while Jama was talking, I thought about it, and I said, even I said our money be the problem for this marriage. Our money, and I know that the governor must have given them something. Which is why this whole piece. And for me, it is even very irritating that she was the one apologizing at the end of the day. Not even the husband. She said she has apologized to him. you get beaten up and cheated on, and you apologize to him. And you know, I don't know, but yes, it's abuse of power. My case and her case is not really the same, because I don't know how. Is the governor their family friend? Probably that's the first time she's seeing him. She's never met him before. Compared to mine, that for how many years, you know, he was in on the case. So over the years, I grew to trust him. Yeah, I grew to trust him, but still, abuse of trust. More like not really power, abuse of trust. But in the governor's case, he didn't have any rights. And it just shows that the governor himself is a perpetrator. And I will boldly say it. He is a perpetrator. He beats his wives, because I'm sure he doesn't just have one wife. He beats his wife or his wives. And if that lady was his daughter, would he do the same? Wouldn't that man be arrested? What he did is not just a family, it's GBH. It's, you know, he really wounded, even if she wasn't his wife, he really, really wounded her. So he needs to be arrested, but he's not being arrested, and he wouldn't be arrested because Nigeria is not a society, it's a jungle. No, it's the lawlessness, you know, it is dog eat dog, you know. The richest people get away with everything. Men get away with everything. It's really a punishment to be a woman in that country, you know. And so I wish her luck. I wish her luck, but I know it will not end well. It's because I always say one thing: abusers never change. They only devise a different pattern of abuse. And like Yuri said, she must have gotten it very, very hot that night. He would have abused, even beating her up well. Like, you did this to me. Like, that woman would have been on her knees begging for at least 48 hours. Like, I am so, so sorry. Which is why I think she needs to take a break from her job. What if she even has postnatal depression? Because she has a baby, maybe just 4 weeks, not months, weeks. So she's not even in the right mental capacity for. She's been psychologically kidnapped, if I have to put it that way. She's not reasoning normally. And the governor, she has just seen him once. Does she have access to him? Will she have access to him again? The money, who did they give the money? Because I'm sure that money, you know, got into this whole matter. The man, and if they gave it to the man, this time around, that man is probably in some hotel, chilling with some chicks. That man is not even at home. And because she will still be there. And this time around, it's a bit like the girl that has cried wolf, wolf, wolf all the time. When the wolf finally came and ate her off, nobody was interested because she's told everybody to mind their business. So it's not a place of, but you know how Nigerians are. Governor, rich man, once you're a politician and you have money, you can get away with anything in that country. Nothing, nobody questions you. You feel untouchable. You feel the only time there's an issue is when the two parties are fighting each other. That's when they kind of, you know, this one is punishing this one. But apart from that, you can get away with any. I mean, look at the senator that beat up a woman. And he went and beat up. You see, that's what I tell you about abusers never change. Recently, a few weeks ago, he hit another person in a campaign or whatever that they were doing. He beat someone else. You know, so that's abusers. Once a person does not know how to reason and communicate verbally without using force, violence, or his or her fist, the person can never ever. It's more than therapy, and it's more than the grace of God. You know, so I really, really feel sorry for her. But the governor, he didn't do well at all. But that shows that the governor of, is it Ebonyi State or whatever, the guy is a perpetrator. He's an abuser. His wife would have seen hell herself. Look at the wife of it. Did you see how she was dressed? Like, did you see the wife? Show me your wife, and I will show you the kind of husband you are. I mean, that woman looked haggard and frustrated.
I thought when I saw her, I thought she was the lady's auntie. I didn't realize that she was the wife of the governor.
Governor's wife.
You thought she was the help.
Does she even see her husband? Does he give her money to even dress well, look nice?
Because she's the first lady of that state, right?
Don't blame the woman, though. She may be like that too. You know, you look at Jonah too. The wife cannot speak grammar.
She cannot. She doesn't dress. She's not a fashionista, but she can wear this watch of 5 million. And we know, we know from afar when we see. Did you see her all her gele and her neck piece and everything? No.
If I wear Primark, na swag. If somebody wears Gucci, they no go see her.
I will see the Gucci. I will see her. I leave that.
Okay, Yuri, let me come to you quickly. So, do you think there's abuse of power here?
Definitely. Do you know, it tells you, Victoria said something. Nigeria is a jungle. It's a jungle. Tony and I cannot fight now. And then my MP, Margaret Hodge, will now stand behind us and say, oh, actually, I've spoken to both of them. She's going to lose her seat.
Yeah.
Do you understand? She will lose her seat. So they should have been caught. When you put, no disrespect, we're all Nigerians, but when you put Nigeria against some other countries, you see how things are wrong. How can you, the governor of a state, now call press and say, okay, I have settled this? You should not even be in that area because that means you're an enabler. You've enabled him. So we'll be like, okay, so if I beat you tomorrow, what do you want to do? Go tell governor, and then they will beg me. And then what is going to happen? Nothing has happened to this guy that will stop him from repeating the same situation. The money that the governor gives them is not going to be 10 million. Let me tell you that for a fact. And this money will not go to the wife. It will go to the guy. And he will use the money and not even give you out of it. So it's the social construct. Nigeria will revert to people in power. If there's a problem, have you discussed it with the pastor? When I got married quite young, but I had fertility issues for like 7 years. And I could remember one of my aunties said to me, said, if you go to this pastor. So I said, look, my husband doesn't have a problem. I don't have a problem. God has not just answered us. And I said, let me tell you, if I go to this pastor, if they're actually giving babies in that church, I will not collect. Do you know why? Because my faith is not there. I don't revert to men of God in situations like that. So that's the problem. And we forget that we can only use our own mouth to communicate with God. So the issue is we have these, there's a problem, you need an elder to sort it. It works in some circumstances where there's a place for elders to come in, and that will be where they mentor the guy. You don't beat your wife. This is what you do. And they will work with this man to get into it. They'll not tell you that, okay, fine, it's okay to beat him or beat your wife. And then, no. We have a serious problem. The police can't come in now and come and do, and Jude was saying with the IG for where? The governor has slotted him himself in and said, well, it's okay for him to beat his wife. Which IG won't do? Because the governor will be the one to call up and be like, okay, you are not stepping within the boundaries of my state. I have sorted this out. Back off.
Yeah.
So we have a serious problem. Like I said, we need to start pointing fingers at who we need to point fingers at. The husband is a useless, excuse my friend, is a useless motherfucker. He needs to just leave the marriage. The woman herself, you any money. I know it's not easy. It's easy for me to say, walk out the marriage. But this guy will end up killing you. He sat on an incision, had a C-section, for 6 weeks. You're not supposed to drive. You're not supposed to do anything. You're not supposed to even do any exercise. Ordinarily, when I had my daughter, I had a C-section. Ignorance is a bliss. No one told me. They only said, don't do any exercise. So I thought, well, that means I could get my car and drive her. So I drove the car. I went to Tesco's. And that was when one of my auntie called me. She wanted to come and give Renee a bath. I said, where are you? I said, I'm in Tesco's. They were like, oh, did your husband take it? I said, no, I don't. I said, park the car. We are coming. Because if your incision had gone, it's like an open wound. Everything will just come out. And I died that you hemorrhage and die. He wanted to kill her.
Intent. Yeah. I'm just gonna read quickly what Nazo Ezekiel wrote about this, right? After the woman has come out on social media and apologized. She said, "Dear doctor, the same governor that reconciled you with your abuser will send him a huge envelope if he mistakenly kills you. His friends will arrange a hot girl for him on your funeral day to help him cool off. If you can't think about yourself, think about your children. A man hits you tirelessly, sit on your pregnancy, sit on your cesarean bed wounds to hit you more after 4 weeks of childbirth. He's a monster. I know this decision is not easy. I understand the pressure you are under, but please ignore the messed up societal judgment and save yourself. Sending you all my love and prayers and all of that. But now the woman came out with a video and a picture. Judy showed me the picture and she said, oh, everybody mind your business. Just pray for my marriage. For me, I feel there are some things that you don't even need to pray for. So is anyone here going to be praying for this woman and her marriage?
Absolutely no.
That was the husband's topic.
Absolutely no.
That was the husband. The husband proposed that message.
The husband.
Absolutely not. I ain't praying. No wasting my energy for that.
The husband composed that message. That message didn't come from the woman.
I will not be wasting my time praying for her. I've not even finished praying for myself. You know how many people that I hang out with that needs prayer? I will now pray for someone that is not ready. Even if I pray for her and God says move, she's not ready to move. So why would I be wasting my time praying for her when she's not willing to listen? The signs are there. This guy doesn't like you. This guy, there's an intention to kill you, and he will end up killing you because you're now frustrating him. You know, sometimes they say give unto Caesar what is Caesar and give unto God what is. This guy wants you to leave.
And that's why I say she's very desperate. She is extremely, extremely desperate. But that desperation comes out of a family background of no self-worth, no self-esteem, none at all. All she has going, and in fact, I know that man must have told her times and times without number. You think because you're a medical doctor, I did you a favor, you're rubbish, you're trash, you're this, you're that. That man would put her, that he has been doing, it's just like an iroko tree and you keep chipping and chipping and chipping. One day it will fall. She is in a hopeless situation. So somehow, as per a therapist, I feel so sorry for her because even telling people to mind their business is a form of a junkie. Yes, that at the end of the day, due to the guilt that she feels that everybody is now feeling sorry and wanting to help her, she's now like, leave me alone. I can't do it. I can't clean up. I can't be normal again. I'm a junkie. I need help, but I can't. Because for you to, as a junkie, for you to clean up, you need to abstain, meaning that she needs to separate. Now, no one is even telling her to leave her husband, but she could. The stupid governor would have said, okay, you both go and live apart for some time. You need time apart, to reason out things for each other. But she does not, she doesn't have that mental capacity anymore. And I'm worried for her, and I'm worried for her children. Women like that, she knows the drugs to take. All this one that we are talking, she can commit suicide.
Straight up. She
can commit suicide because the shame. Trust me, she doesn't have a family background. That is one of the things. Now, see finish. The man don't see and finish. No say nobody there. Is it your poverty stricken or no? See finish has entered this thing, and constant battering and talking down and everything. She is at a ground zero and she might never get up. That is the problem. So she's saying, mind your business. It's not like it's still a cry for help. It's not like, leave me alone. It's like, I still need help, but I don't know how to help myself because I can't get over this addiction. And the addiction is, no confidence, no self-worth, being very, very desperate to hold on to a marriage, a man that does not want, look at the man. Did you see the man? Looks like
I saw him.
Did you see her? Anyway, let me not talk too much. My case is not very, very different.
You know what? You hear a lot of people, a lot of married women or okay, let me say men, but mostly married women saying that, oh, you know, my husband, he beats me and he maltreats me, but I'll continue to pray. I'll continue to fast. God will answer my prayers. Do we really think in occasions like that, do we think prayers work? Jude, let me come to you. Do you think there's any point in praying when a man has been beating you for 6 years and he continuously does it? Is there any need to be praying again?
I think first of all, we have to understand what prayer means. Prayer is just petition. I know they've twisted the whole word. It's petition. You really likely pointed our MP out. If I want something done, I petition. That's what prayer is for. It's petition. You get it done or not. We've twisted it. We've become so lazy that everything, to even get up and get water from the fridge, they pray for it to disappear into their mouth. So the word prayer has been misconstrued a lot in the society. And it borders on what we've been talking about. There's no society yet. There's no deterrent for any of these things. So they will resort to prayer because, first of all, if Yori had accepted to go to that pastor and he then prayed, not unknowing to him, maybe Yori was fertile at that period and she was going to give birth anyway, naturally. Now it works. What do you think we'll be playing around Yori's head if Yori wasn't the smart type or intelligent one? It would be like, wow, I went to this guy after 7 years. He prayed. And now look at it, we have a child. She will believe everything. Then she will base everything on prayer. So most of them got there in the first place by thinking they prayed and prayed for a man to marry. We need to change the narrative. There's this guy who always put rubbish on Facebook. His page is all about a woman who is a wife material is the one that looks like it's not about beauty. There's something he put a couple of days ago. I was so pissed off about what he wrote about women. And I wrote back and I said, I have a daughter. I don't think I'm investing on my daughter to come and marry somebody like you. I was so angry. Why would you commodify them? But that's why we need to change the narrative. If you go to Jagwajanti's page, go to social media, especially Instagram. This is even worse from the women. The men are a bit scared to comment. I don't fear anybody. I comment and they insult me sometimes. The women are the one doing it. Keep yourself for your husband. Prepare yourself. I'm like, all of this you do. All of this just for a man to put you in bed. Is this all your life is for? And they cost me back. But it is a shame. We need to challenge it. I don't think I'm telling my daughter here every day, read politics and sociology and history and get to the top of the society. I don't think I'm doing that because some idiot, some lame dick, sorry for my language, wants to marry her. I'm not doing that for that person. No way. I'm not preparing my daughter for you. You should I'll get a gun and kill you. For you? No. So we need to change that narrative that the girl child is not being prepared for these guys. Trust me. The woman needs to have that self-esteem. Victoria touched about it so many times this evening. Self-esteem is gone. You need to go on social media and mine it and you'll see them. I'm keeping myself for the guy. Why? It's not about you. It's not about marriage. It's not about keeping yourself. All these beauty tips and everything. All this gaming, getting all the thing in the right corner because of one guy that can't even last 2 seconds in bed. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. It's just mental. Seriously, we need to change the narrative. And I will go back again to our movies and our music. Check our lyrics. Check the whole of Naira Marley lyrics. Trust me, Naira Marley, his music, the beatings are great. I love big drums. But his lyrics, when they started to narrate to me what he was singing about, I was confused. I was like, and I've been dancing to this, allowing my children to hear this in the car. Listen to all of their lyrics. It's all about something they do to the woman. And the women are happy to be around them, get this done to them. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
See what is happening around. It's like we used to prepare them for, our parents prepared the girl child for marriage. Now the girls are doing it for themselves. I want to spill you something here. My wife is just around the corner. I want to tell you something here. I almost got kissed because somebody thought I looked like Burna Boy. Not a joke. In this London. Yes. How can you just be like that? She's told me she's been to France, she's been to Italy, chasing after Burna Boy. In this country. And all she saw in me was, you look so much like Burna Boy, just because I take this side of my hair off and my locks. And I said, no, I'm better than Burna Boy, so he's the one that looks like, I know he's famous. So you see what I'm trying to do? We need to change the narrative. The narrative needs to change that you're not being prepared for marriage as a girl child. You can crash any ceiling. You can become whatever you want to be. You know what I mean? In the system. But don't prepare yourself and think you go through secondary school, university, start working because you want to marry that guy from Benue State. No way. Or you want to marry a Dino Melaye. No way. I'm not preparing my daughter for that. Or a Femi Fanikayode. No way. You know, but the
Bad
society where we
example of
live
men.
tells us, prepare your daughter. And I'll tell you the truth. Some of them think the daughter is an investment. Go marry that rich man and bring everything for us. Trust me. Now we're talking about these guys. Probably, like you mentioned, is not really prominent. What if this was the Oba of Benin who did it? What if this was the Oba of Lagos or the Oni of Ife, that young flamboyant king? What if he was doing this to his wife? What will go talk?
Well,
Who go fit talk? Now police go go. Whose police will go meet him? Then he will be the president of the country who will hold his hand in public and be saying, doing press review. It's all messed up. It's all messed up. It's all messed up. But we need to change the narrative, especially for our girl children.
Yeah. And I think we've all touched on it anyway, just before I round up, that obviously this woman is in a position where she sees people every day and people are depending on her for advice. People who go through similar situations are going to be depending on her for advice. Her children are going to remember this and say, well, daddy was beating mommy and mommy didn't do anything. So they will see it as it's okay for their own husband or boyfriend to beat them, and it's okay, it's acceptable. I mean, was it not Lil Frosh, 19-year-old boy that beats a girl? Do you understand? And what did Davido do? Davido ended his contract, but here you go, Benue State governor, bringing husband and wife, and without even, although people might say, actually, well, do you really want the marriage to end? You know, do you really want the marriage to end? So maybe the Benue State governor did the right thing by settling.
So what if the marriage ends? We are talking about a human life. So what if the marriage ends? Yeah. It ended for a good reason. So that two of them will be alive to raise children, so that those children will not become a liability to the society. Because whereby one parent is gone from domestic violence, the perpetrator would never take care of the children to a good standard. So the children will either grow up to be women beaters, drug addicts, you know, just a menace to the society. Bottom line, that is just it. So is it not better the marriage ends and she takes her children, takes time out, maybe 1 or 2 years, settles down? I know that there's no support in Nigeria whatsoever. There is none. There is none. Even the few charities that claim they help women in domestic violence are just not serious. You know, it's just one that I know, which is domesticviolence.ng or something, because I've spoken to them. But the guy he has so much in his hands. Yeah. It's so he will tell me, Victoria, I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to finish. You know, so no, there's no help. No flamboyant philanthropist is saying, I want to, you know, bring out money for women and children. Nobody. It should be COVID. Everybody donated 100 million, right? And I didn't see how many people had COVID in Nigeria. Those same people, Glow, Femi Otedola, all of them, what have they done to support, you know, this section of the family? See, without a functioning family unit, no society can stand.
No, you don't have, you're absolutely right.
Where are they standing? Because how does it work? That woman is a carer to people. She is not functioning. She is unhappy. She is miserable. There is some in Nigeria. Obviously, we know that misdiagnosis, wrong drugging, whatever, all is there. So she's having her issues. She could give the wrong medication. We all know that even here, most staff sometimes they are too tired and they will give the wrong dosage. So imagine what she is doing there. It is not happening, and people will be dying by mistake, and nothing will happen.
Yeah, then she won't be held accountable. Home. Yeah.
Then she goes back home to meet children, unruly children. Let me tell you, from my experience, children living in a toxic home are unruly, they are rebellious, they are angry. The one that is not angry, it is extreme. The one that is not angry is seriously, that is, the self-esteem as well has gone. They will not talk. I have a child that's abused, affected, and now they call it autism. But I have told God that I removed this child from that bad environment. Now he is speaking. Now we are learning how to read and write. So yes, autism, but no, I know the effects of the abuse on him because of the things he saw. My kids have seen me fall down the stairs now, and I landed on my first son's leg. You know, I was so ashamed. He saw the father hit me and I fell, and I said I tripped. He agreed. Years later, he said, Mommy, he wrote it in the Kafka's report. He told the Kafka's that I saw him beat mommy. Mommy rolled down the stairs, and mommy thinks I don't know. And so they know. And I know the work I have been doing with my kids, putting them through counseling, talking to them, supporting them, praying with them. It is a lot of work, because I don't want him to go and be a menace to another woman and think my mom stayed. So the damage just continues. There is no function. That's why Nigeria is the way it is. The average Nigerian comes from a dysfunctional home, a home where they were beaten up, they were abused, they were molested. They grew up. Some of even the posh ones that you think went to boarding school and stuff. In boarding school, they were molested, they were sexually abused, and then they now grow up to be adults. Please, how do you want them to function? How do you want them to function? Which governor is interested in women and children? I heard Fashola's wife is a medical doctor, and she is there watching what happened in Lut the other day. Women that just had children, there were no beds for them, they were sleeping on the floor. And your governor's wife is a medical doctor. God needs to end that country. God needs to just end that country. So where do we start from? Where do we, the family unit is made up of either the rich oppressing the poor, and the poor being so rebellious to each other, damaging each other. They are not able to reach the rich, and the cycle of violence, abuse, and everything, it just continues. It just continues. So, I don't even know, but I don't know. Let them continue.
I think you've explained it all. Yeah. We don't have anything to add. You've just said the correlation between the family unit and whatever is happening in Nigeria. I say this all the time. There's correlation within that unit, because I came from a family unit. I knew, though we didn't witness that because my mom, we didn't stay with dad, but there was a lot of dysfunction in our family. Poverty was there. There was a lot of people not working at home. You knew things were not right. There was a lot of, when this one was supposed to be in secondary school, they were not there at the time. So they skipped one or two classes. That's not right. And we all turned adults, and you wonder why we do what we do. You wonder why we want to steal blindly like a primitive animal. You're absolutely right. No, none of these families function at all. Some are riddled with drugs, cocaine. That's their habit, and that's a dysfunction. And these are the people that are out there running the show. Imagine that governor. That governor, like you said, you already pointed it out, enabler. You said it is a perpetrator. He came from that same family. He don't know any different. Yeah. This is how they did it for him. That's why he had both hands. Yeah. Some of the pastors who carry themselves around, they are the same. You remember when we first did a show, we talked about Daddy Gio's son who said, the girl, I'm liking the girl who works for me. That's why I seriously was checking that out. The Daddy Gio was so wrong in telling the son, sack her. It's not her fault that your thing between your legs is not respecting itself. You should get yourself out. But no, you blame the woman who was trying to fend for herself. Now, if she go and turn the other way, we'll start blaming her again for the failure of society. When it was your own Daddy Gio, somebody so many people look up to, giving you wrong advice, because they are product of all of this. It's a cycle. Victoria, you've said it all. It's just like that. And it will continue until people are willing to make sacrifices, to say, okay, enough is enough. No, nobody, like you said, are helping children and family. None. None.
I think the government needs to do better. They need all this money that they are spending on I don't know. The whole thing is really messed up. Children and mothers and family should be a major aspect of the society that the government is investing a lot of money on. But no, they would invest this on other things that are really, really irrelevant. But anyway, if on that note, let's end it. We can't. I don't think we can say anymore. Everybody has spoken. And she said for us to be praying for her. So please let us add her to our prayer point, as if we don't.
No, she said we should mind our business.
Yeah, but pray for me. Mind your business, but put me in your prayer.
Oh, okay.
Pray for me.
No. But I wish her well, so that she don't end up being carried out by 6 people. Yeah, that's where it's going to be.
I just hope, God forbid, I hope in a few months or in a few years' time, we are not trashing the topic of saying,
she's too tiny. She's too tiny. They don't need 6 people. Please, no.
No, but Because being carried by 6 people is better compared to being handcuffed in a hospital bed. Like,
because you know what? Let's just look at it this way. Let's assume, right, that if the man beats her up again and that woman actually does something and maybe kills the husband, would the governor of Benue State be saying it's okay? She reacted.
No, they will lock her up. They will lock her up.
Okay,
There's a woman not going through the same thing.
Yeah.
They will lock her
So
up.
let's end it there because let's just see. Because that's true. If she defends herself and that leads to his death, she's going to be firing squad.
Without leading to his death, they will arrest her.
Yeah, they will. They will.
They will.
But anyway, we're going to end it here. As I said, we all just have to be very careful. Don't run into marriages because you feel, or don't stay in a marriage, because in the beginning, it might be all, tickety-boo, all nice and rosy. But then as time goes on, as the years go by, if it's not rosy anymore and it results to physical abuse or whatever kind of abuse at all, please do yourself a favor and leave. It's not by force to be married. Okay, I think Nigeria has, for me, I think maybe Nigeria has evolved, maybe not, to the point where you don't really need to be married to be recognized in society or to be respected in the society. So I think we should, whoever is going through situations like that, do yourself a favor, remove yourself, and especially if your children are witnessing this, because it can really have mental health issues later in the future for those children. And then the next thing they'll be saying, oh, this one swore for him or this one cursed him. No, it's what the child has seen when they were growing up, and that's what's manifesting, because there was no exit, there was no therapy, there was nowhere for them to talk about how they were feeling or to talk about what they've seen. But on that note, we're going to end it here and we'll see you again next week. Thank you guys for watching and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.